Hello, it's Sarah James here from SJ Pilates in Shenstone, and this week's exercise of the week is the neck pull. So it's a intermediate move in the mat repertoire, and it can be layered into a beginner class, not totally beginner, but as a beginner starts to learn a little bit more about their own body, it's quite a nice thing to start to introduce them to. So let's look at the neck pull, and what I do if you were a beginner is I bring you into the starting position, which is lying down on your back with the legs out long, and then just bring yourself down onto the mat. So the beginner's already been introduced to the roll up, and the beginner's already starting to get to feel the back of the body work in conjunction with the front, so aware of the sort of directional forces. So this is great because it starts to look at the relationship between the skull, the shoulders, the pelvis and the heels. And as its name implies, it's a really strong at starting to work the front of the neck pull. It's the neck flexors. So what you might find, if you are a beginner, or if you might not be a beginner, you might have got to intermediate and gone, all of a sudden, I struggle with this move, and this is why I'm doing this video, because I think it will help you sort of home practice. So the neck pull starts with feeling the activity through the back of the body. So the back of my thighs, my heels, and my seat, my bottom and my pelvis are feeling strong into the mat, so I feel active. I want to feel that my shoulders are connecting down into my back, so the wings are drawing down into the back, and then I'm going to bring my elbows wide and scoop the hands up the back of the neck and place the hands in a wraparound fashion just on the very bottom of the skull, where that bone, the occipital bone, joins the neck. So I've got a nice lift through the back of the head, and the elbows are as wide as they can be with the ribs down and the shoulder blades down. Now I'm feeling pretty active in my the back of my body, and I'm just going to think about now, if I'm a beginner, this might be enough because I'm going to start thinking of neck flexors before anything. So I'm going to make sure that my neck feels quite protracted, and I've got some weight of my head. The weight of my head is supported by my hands, and then my hands are going to equally press into the head. So I've got a nice isometric hold in my neck. Now this really starts to now work the muscles of the neck flexors, and I want you to start, this might be enough for a beginner, just to feel the activity through the posterior chain of the body. Now I might introduce a beginner to then bringing the head up, so the back of the neck scoops and we lift the back of the head and shoulders, keeping the chin tucked in and the neck protracted, and the weight of the hands into the head and vice versa. Feeling as if the movement comes from the sternum, that's my flexors working, and then I can feel my abdominals and rib cage. And I reach the heels away and I look down the front of the body, and then I roll back, keeping the neck long. So these are my neck flexors really starting to activate. If I can't seem to get that lift from bringing the chin down, and I end up almost coming up through the chin, well, what that means is that we're not quite getting strength through the neck flexors. We're sort of using the other muscles of the neck, so the sternocleidomastoid, which can pick up the head, but it can't flex the neck. So then we don't want to do any more of this move, because what we want to do is try and strengthen the neck flexors. So this is then all about just finding the isometric strength, and maybe just maybe not lifting the head, but just getting the pressure into the head into the hands, and equally the hands into the head, and finding the strength in this position. So let's say we've now engaged the neck flexors, and we can feel that we're quite strong through the neck flexors. The next portion of the exercise is to start to peel the spine off, so we're rolling up. Now again, this is where it gets tricky because we tend to lose all of this connection that we're kind of trying to maintain. So we need to keep this consistent heel reaching away and the bottom, back of the hips engaged, and also the hamstrings. So we're really using the back posterior chain of the body and creating this column of strength now to start to lift up the spine. So we curl up through the crown of the head, and again use the neck flexors until we get to the sternum, and then we can feel the ribs connect down, and we press ourselves into the hands, into the head into the hands, keeping the bottom engaged, and lift the spine up as we come into our roll forwards. Now keep the neck long, eyes into the centre, and reach the back of the spine up the wall behind you, reaching the heels away, keeping the connection down the back of the legs. Okay, and we lengthen the spine up, keeping the neck long, and then we keep the pressure into the skull, into the hands, as we reach through the heels, reach through the sit bones, and then start to lengthen, placing the pelvis down, and then the lower back, middle back, upper back, and then head comes down. Okay, so let's just do one more here. I'm going to keep reaching the back of the head, keep the neck flexors engaged, coming to here, okay, my solar plexus. Now I'm reaching my heels and feeling the seat stay engaged, eyes down, and we roll forwards, good, and keep that lift under the rib cage. Draw the abdominals back as we scoop and bring the weight forwards. And this is your neck pull. Draw the shoulders into the back, reach the crown of the head, up the legs, and then stack the spine, pushing the heels away, still feeling the seat engage. Now you're reaching, and then we start to lower the pelvis and roll down onto your back. Good, and that is your neck pull. Okay, so practice all of those variations. If you feel that you haven't got the strength through the front of the neck, then start with just that centering, that pressing into the mat, feeling the connections through the whole of the back of the body. Let me know how you get on.